Yo, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to flip soul samples for 21 Savage. This will be similar to the beats kind of like in Her Loss. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get straight into the video. Alright, so I got this sample that was sent over by my boy Koba. Here's what the sample sounds like originally. Alright, so that's just the soul sample. He kind of like did a little flip to it himself, sent it over to me, and then here's what I'm going to show you how to make. So here's what I did with it. No, I can't stay away from you. Yeah, so definitely one of my best samples. I'm excited to show you how I did this one. Let's get into it now. So first off, from the original, all I did was pitch it up a little bit. And as you can tell, it's going to sound different from the final result. It's going to be pitched down a little bit, but I did that later on. So I just pitched it up here. And then the main thing I wanted to pay attention to was the root notes, or like the bass notes of the sample, because that will allow me to kind of have that dark 21 Savage Nardo Wick type of feel to it. So you can hear it's just one note, two note, and it repeats throughout the whole sample. So what I tried to do is I just chopped the one section with one bass note, and then I repeated it, and then on the second or the last part here, it does the bass note switch. So it's the same bass note throughout, which keeps it dark, and then it switches at the last one just to kind of add like a little variation at the end, a little difference, so it's not stuck on the same note the whole time. But that lets me go in with the first thing I did, which was just add the bass notes. I think it was a piano from Keyscape. In this project, there's a lot that goes into it with these ones, so I took my time on it. But yeah, all this is just F repeating, and then it goes down to C. So here's what it sounds like the first thing I did. So yeah, simple on the piano. It just kind of shows me what else I can do with it. What I mean, so that's F. I know it's an F minor. So I want to keep things simple so it can be used in a beat, but I don't want it to sound too crazy. I'm kind of keeping the sample like the focal point of what I want the loop to be, because it's going to sound crazy regardless. So this piano, all I did was take F minor, and this is an Analog Lab piano. All I did was take F minor, lower the G sharp down to G, and just repeat it throughout. The only change I did was, of course, at the end here with the C minor when the root note changes, and then I just put a F. I pitched it up one just to add an extra note. I did that the same thing here with C. So with the bass notes, the piano, and the sample, here's what this sounds like. And you hear the piano kind of moves the loop, like you can kind of nod your head to it already. That's something something that's key is even without drums, if you can nod your head to the sample, once you put drums on it, it's gonna go crazy regardless. So as you can see, it's pretty simple. It's just two chords, really the same chord, just a note moving down, and then a different chord on this last section here. Next thing I did is I recorded that piano, and this is what I think makes it sound super dark and really good in my opinion. Is I recorded the piano and I reversed it, recorded it again, and then just kind of made sure all the notes that were playing on the piano were the same notes on the reverse. So what I mean by that is when you reverse the piano, it's kind of like backwards, obviously because it's reversed, but I just timed it up to where this first note was this first note, this second note was this second note, like, so everything was in place. And here's how that sounds. And then next thing I did is just pitch it up on the second part of the loop, so it's just up an octave. So here's what that sounds like. Because overall I want two parts. Like, I know when the hook drops, they can do the lower octave, and then when the second part of the hook, they can do the higher. Then the verse starts, they can keep it on the low one or they can take it out, whatever. It just adds different parts that makes it easier on the person adding the drums. Next thing I did, just to add a little excitement to the drop, I just added a bell and just kept it on both sections. And then the last thing I added was the growler moog bass from Omnisphere. I just kept it F, because remember, it's the same note until the very end, so I didn't want to have it just this long F note. So what I did was F, F, and then pitch it up here, because that still sounds good. And then F, F, then C right here when the chord changes. So overall, that's everything I did. As far as stuff that I added. And to make it sound a little more clean, I added a riser to kind of like make the transition a little more exciting. And then this gross beat preset. And then this gross beat preset is a tape stop effect. So I just automated it here to drop the original sample into this chopped sample. So really that's all I did. Now I wasn't done here, but this is the loop so far. No, I can't stay away from you. And as you can tell, that second part, when the bass, the bell, and the octave goes higher, it brings that excitement. I dropped the vocals from it, and you can just tell with drums, it would just go crazy. So all I did from there, I just stem out everything, separate them by a couple bars, so there's not any like unnecessary noise or bleeding into the other section. And then to make it the final sample, what I did, this one you see is pitched up. I pitched the final sample down 3 semitones, and I did that because sometimes different pitches provide different energies, so I wanted to see which one was the best. And the original, like you see, is an F, but pitch it down 3 and it's in D minor. So I pitched this one down 3, and we know D, D sharp, and E minor typically are used for like the darker melodies. So it ended up sounding like this. No, I can't stay away from you. how I flip soul samples for 21 Savage. It's definitely a little bit of a challenge, but the final result is worth it 100%. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you want to see in the next video. As far as this one, I'm out. I'll see y'all in the next one.